Your life is going to change if you change it. Your business is going to get better if you work harder in your business, if you get smarter in your business. None of this stuff is going to change your business. This is Byron and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 145 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
All right, we got 2 rackets, no Marketeer. Send us your Marketeers. I guess everybody just stopped marketing after Halloween and election week and everything. People just had their heads in the sand.
It's been a busy week.
Yeah, it has been a very busy week.
I have to know, though, is this president number 45?
No. Trump was 45.
Oh, okay, because we're at week 145.
Oh,
I thought that it was
yeah,
kind
no,
of,
no.
you know.
He was
Maybe we'll know next week.
I guess he just stays the 45th if he stays in, or if he's not in, then we're not talking about that anymore.
No, I think he'd be the 46th. But anyway, here we are.
That's right. All right, 2 rackets. If you've got a Marketeer, send it in.
Please.
Put it in the comments or send it in to us. We'd be happy to highlight somebody maybe in your office.
My arm is loose.
Or anywhere that you've seen. Yep, it's a loosey goose. All right, bracket number 1. Who does Zillow fear? Nicole, is it Keller Williams? Is Zillow afraid of Keller Williams?
They're not.
Are they afraid of Compass?
They're not.
Are they afraid of Realogy?
They're not.
No?
Are they afraid of Byron and
No. There's a few people that might know my name there, but I'm sure not all of them. Definitely not Rich Barton. Rich. Maybe he does. I've met him once.
But you think he's afraid of you, though?
I don't think he's afraid of me at all.
I didn't say if they knew your name.
Zillow might be afraid of Greg Schwartz. Left the company, now just had the largest funded. He's going to compete in this space. We got to talk about that.
There's lots of things that I think we're earmarking for next week.
What about Realtor.com? They afraid of them?
No. I mean, are you?
I wouldn't be. How about Open Door? Of course. Brad Inman says, and we'll link up the article. Brad Inman says, of course. Both companies are pioneering the budding iBuying movement. So, of course, they're afraid of Open Door, but Zillow faces a bigger threat.
Much bigger threat.
That would be CoStar. Maybe not a lot of residential agents have heard of CoStar.
I've never heard of it until today, to be honest.
CoStar owns companies like LoopNet, which you've heard of.
Of course.
A lot of residential agents may have heard of that when they're getting a commercial listing for the first time. Like, how do I list this? And you have to list it on LoopNet, and they charge you absurd amount of money to do so. So they own LoopNet. They own landsandfarm.com, which I think is named something else. It used to be landandfarm.com. Now it is Lands of America. I think they merged those 2 companies, bought the whole thing. They also own apartments.com, which, by the way, apartments.com is beating Zillow's apartment platform, which is called, what is the name of the Zillow one? Do we know? We know. Nicole, we know.
I don't know.
You don't know? Why don't you know?
I don't.
Lands of America was the other one. All right. Anyways, they're beating Zillow's rental platform. But here's why they're ultimately afraid of CoStar. CoStar right now is in talks, and this was reported last week, that they are going to acquire CoreLogic. CoreLogic is a data giant. That's what CoStar is. They're a data giant in the commercial world,
right?
Apartments, land, all that kind of stuff. CoreLogic has 600,000 real estate agents as clients, and 17 of the 20 largest MLS organizations are their client. This would put CoStar in the home listing business overnight. The company also, Nicole, has a ton of cash. Zillow's market cap is $20 billion. CoStar's is $32 billion. Okay, so like almost a third, larger than a third bigger than Zillow in terms of market cap. They also, Zillow Rentals was the name of the Zillow platform.
Well, that makes sense, right?
That does make a lot of sense.
Kind of makes sense.
They also have $6 billion in cash. They are profitable. They're not going to be, it's not like Open Door where they are going out and raising money. It's not like some of these other Compass who they're just not afraid of, who's been raising money this whole time. They have cash. They've been in business, CoStar, since 1987. Andrew Florence, who's the CEO, is a lot like a Rich Barton. He, in Brad's word, is a Wall Street darling. Both are charming, but sometimes ruthless. He's been in the game for 30 plus years. of doing this. He's from Princeton University, and this would be the first major acquisition that would put CoStar in the residential space and really give Zillow a direct competitor. You brought up when we were talking about this pre-show, like, oh, so is it going to be the same like LoopNet model where you're basically paying to place your listing? I don't think that would be the game, because who's going to go to a new site and pay to put their listing when I can just put it in the MLS? It goes on Zillow for free, right? As a real estate listing agent or a listing broker.
Right.
I think they'd have to come in and compete with Zillow. They'd have to have a platform, right, for attention, for sure. And Brad, I think, finishes it off like, whatever the journey, CoStar is on the move. Don't be surprised if someday in the future you wake up and find yourself buying ads from them on your home listing. So they're going to have a platform that gets eyeballs from the consumers. But, I mean, as they watch Zillow in this flex model doing the referrals, do they say that's the way to go and capitalize more on the actual transaction?
Well, I think it's super interesting though, because again, they're talking about owning the 17 of the 20 largest MLSs, where they had like a sort of small window to actually get rid of Zillow, because a lot of these MLSs are obviously feeding Zillow. But now that Zillow is getting into like the broker game, I mean, that window is sort of closing in on Zillow too. So it'll be, again, it's an interesting thing. This is the first time I've heard of this. It's the first time I've heard of this company, but it's sort of exciting to hear that maybe there's like,
I think as agents and as brokers,
keeps everyone bobbing and weaving.
We don't know what CoStar's vision for CoreLogic would be.
Right.
So, we're kind of all just guessing, including Brad. And if you read the article, there's no definitive, prediction on what they would do with CoreLogic. That being said, this would be a major competitor. I think we can all agree as real estate agents that a major competitor for Zillow would be healthy in the brokerage community, unless all of this money, I mean, you think about how much money is in Zillow and Redfin, who still hasn't lost money. They even mentioned them as a competitor, but they have a lot of money behind them. Open Door, certainly, who was mentioned, or now a CoreLogic CoStar partnership. If all of this money starts to shift towards the brokerage model that Zillow has, that would really be not good, potentially, for the brokerage community. Certainly for these names that were listed at the top, KW, Compass, Realogy, right? That would be not good for these large brokerages who rely so much of their margin, obviously they get the mortgage and all of that, but so much of their margin on having all of the agents working for them. But if there's a percentage of agents that are now, which we've seen, Redfin agents, Zillow agents, or potentially, and I'm just totally throwing this out there, CoStar agents.
Right.
That changes the game considerably.
Yeah. Well, and I think most times too, commercial is a little bit more money.
CoStar now switching, or not switching, right? They're a CoStar, they're a commercial data company for sure. But now getting into residential, what does that say about the future of commercial business? Are they hedging their bets a little bit? We've been questioning the commercial business here for a couple of years. Well, of course,
and it's now that you think about it, now you think of the temperature of it, it makes sense that they would go after a residential with the way that commercial is.
Timing seems good.
Timing seems very good
right now. So more to watch there. We'll see if that CoStar CoreLogic deal actually gets done. Be very interesting to see what CoStar's vision is for the company. We'll certainly keep you. I think Brad hit it on this opinion piece. We'll link it up. I think it's something to think about, certainly for Zillow.
Or at least know about.
And certainly something Zillow is going to be conferencing about. I'm certain of that over the coming time here. All right, let's get into racket number 2. Corcoran. Mm-hmm. We know Corcoran.
Well, we don't know them.
We don't know Barbara, but we know the company, and you know the company. Corcoran drops agent caught trashing Biden signs in a viral video. In a video posted to Facebook and Twitter, Roy Silber can be seen using misogynistic language and flipping off a Biden supporting. I mean,
he's smiling. Look at him. He's enjoying his moment there.
In this photo, he does happen to be smiling. We'll link up the article. Patrick Kern, staff writer from Inman. Corcoran is disassociating itself with Roy, a Trump supporting New York agent who can be seen. Basically, what he was doing was following around somebody putting up the yard signs in what they claim is legal spots, putting up these Biden signs. He was coming behind there and trashing them.
Right.
And listen.
And openly
doing it. We would have talked about this if this was, just to make everybody clear, if this was the reverse.
Absolutely.
If a Corcoran agent was trashing Trump signs, we would have talked about it. We're not taking any political position here.
Which is the point of this racket.
Which is the total point of this racket. Absolutely. We're going to give some advice to all the real estate agents and brokers and teams that could be listening or watching this video.
This may spark a little bit of an issue. I'm curious to see what everyone has to think, what people think about our advice.
This should be like, I don't know,
101?
standard. It should be standard. If you're a business operator, an entrepreneur in a local community where you're in the middle of an election week that is very divisive, this should be 101 basics. As a real estate agent in your community, you need to stay away from sharing any national politics 100% of the time, not just during an election
100%
week.
of the time.
Can't even talk today. 100% of the time. So in November, which we're sitting in now, in February, in July, you should never be posting national politics. Now, little caveat to that, if you want to support some local politics, I still wouldn't go supporting certain parties. But if you want to help out somebody locally who has a great vision for your community and you want to help them fulfill that vision, whether they win election or not locally, you want to help support the community, you should be all about that, and you should be showcasing that in a very authentic way. Hey, I'm not here to support the party. I'm here to support this goal of getting this done for our town.
Well, and maybe, in all honesty, but I feel like a lot of those times they're already an elected official. So instead of fighting them, help them.
You're helping them. You're joining the cause that you believe in, and you're talking about the cause, the change, the improvement to your town. But this kind of stuff, I mean, listen, this guy, Roy, I don't know if anybody in New York can look up his numbers. He probably wasn't much of a producer, by the way.
Yikes.
If he was, I'm just keeping it real. Roy, if you're watching this, you were probably maybe somebody who sells 2 homes a year, because if you got time to do this, you're not in the game. You're not in real estate. But here's the point.
Well, people are very emotional right now.
They're very emotional. And for you, listen, you're going to be dealing with people's... That's a great point,
are
Nicole.
Emotional.
It's a
and
great
if you
point.
can't handle your own emotions...
Exactly right.
Then how are you going to handle theirs?
If I'm somebody, a seller who's interviewing people, knowing that this is going to get... like the sale of my home, this is going to get emotional because maybe my wife is like, oh my gosh,
I don't want to sell, or you got kids,
and you can't handle your emotions on Facebook with what's happening with Trump and Biden, then you're not the person to, like, if you're caught up in that, I don't want you focused on my home sale anyways.
Well, how do you even have how do you even have the brain space to even be doing that right now?
But the agents that are literally posting their belief, whether it's Trump or Biden, either way, you're an idiot. You're closing out 50%. Listen, we know what the general population was. It was like, I think it was 50% to 48%. So maybe you're blocking out 50%, or maybe you're blocking out 48%. There's not one smart business owner that would advise you to block out 48% or 50% of your potential customer by making a silly, stupid post, whether it's from national news sources, your own belief, like whatever. This is a topic to stay away from in terms of your support for either party. It's foolish. It doesn't make any sense. And listen, a lot of the things that we're going through this week, or people are scared of, if one side wins, this will happen, or the other side wins, that'll happen. Most of the stuff won't even happen. Right. This is America, folks. We have checks and balances.
Well, that's just it. I mean, one guy can't change everything.
No,
that is for sure.
That is like the silver lining. Like, you're getting worked up over how much of anything is going to change over the next 12 months. Nothing. Your life is going to change if you change it. Your business is going to get better if you work harder in your business, if you get smarter in your business. None of this stuff is going to change your business. So I'd advise you to stay away from that divide, like, even just, especially this week, going out and saying, this is a
scam.
Yeah, this is that, or this is the other thing, is being divisive. It's not supporting your client. People don't think your candidate. People think you're stupid. The majority of Americans think you're stupid. 20% of your base thinks you're smart. The rest of us, 80%, think you're an idiot. You're not going to get business this way. So I encourage agents, brokers, teams.
Heard it here.
not to post ever, but especially this week as things get very contentious. And I think Corcoran did a great job. I mean, this guy was caught on camera trashing Biden signs.
With a smile on his face.
With a smile on his face. I believe that Corcoran would have done this no matter what sign it was, because this is just egregious.
You have to, yeah.
And certainly I think it was the right thing to distance himself. I think Corcoran probably didn't want this to be retweeted 7,000 times, and they don't want it to be on Inman.
Right.
But it was.
Well, the fact that they, even posted him and what company he was with.
Yeah. The lady.
They tagged both. She brought them both down. Mm-hmm.
This lady who posted the Twitter, and you can see this, it's in this article. She tagged Joe Biden's Twitter handle. She tagged him. So she basically found out who he was, knew who he was, or whatever. Mm-hmm. Maybe he is a successful real estate agent. She knew how to find his name.
I think we should probably do a little more investigating before we really claim he did 2 homes.
And then she tags, I just can't imagine.
I know.
If you're successful, you got time to do this crap. And then she tags Corcoran's Twitter handle. All 3. And,
I think what's really interesting to me too, though, for both sides, I don't think a sign is a sign if a sign is going to dictate who you're voting for, lordy. That's like the root of the problem to even begin with.
I don't understand the yard signs, because there's always 2 candidates.
Yep.
I'd love us to have a third, party in this country that actually is meaningful, but there's always 2 candidates, and you drive even here locally, you just see you see one sign, and then the next sign is the next guy or gal, and then it's just like...
Right. I guess we would be remiss if we didn't at least acknowledge the fact that we do, though, ultimately understand that there are real issues. People have, there are people that are truly believing in their candidates. So we can't be unsympathetic to that. We get it. We basic human rights and all that. I think
I'm not being not
I hear you. I know. I feel like we have to say it, because if we don't, I do think that some will probably.
Well, you can
comment.
say it for you.
Yeah.
I still think you're an absolute idiot.
I'm not saying.
If you're a business owner,
right.
and
I
if you're
agree
a real
with
estate agent,
that.
you're a business owner
I agree
of your
with
business.
that. I agree
you're
with
an
that.
absolute idiot for posting this kind of stuff. I'm not saying that you don't believe in it, and you can believe in it at home and with your friends or
with your vote. You can believe in it with your vote.
There you go. There's a good one, Nicole.
You believe in it with your vote. Yeah. And what you stand for and how you live your life and yes. Yep.
But and listen, we've seen people locally post this kind of stuff, not in an election time, and we just shake our head and we're like, hey, glad they don't work with us.
Well, and it's back and forth. It's at what point do you just stop? There's no winning. There's no winning.
Then the comments get crazy.
Because that's all everyone's looking to do right now is win, which is no one's winning.
We don't have a Marketeer of the week, but that is the worst marketing you can do, is engage in this stuff. Maybe talk about, I had a text from our number 1 client today, Nicole, real estate developer, asking me what the future of real estate might look like when all this shakes out over the next couple of years. Maybe you can do some research and start to educate your community on what policies would mean for your real estate market. We've been talking a lot, about interest rates. Talk about that kind of stuff. Educate your audience, your community, the people that are buying and selling homes in your market. Stick with what people are hiring you for.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing too. In addition, though, how you can support your maybe you said communities, because I think obviously after this, that's who's going to need the biggest and greatest support, especially since we're still in the middle of this pandemic. Is how can we continue to support our local small businesses? Now,
here's the thing that people are going to say. This is going to be the one piece I think of feedback that I get where people are like, no, I don't agree. Is people will often say, well, I'm more than just, you hear from the NBA basketball players a lot, I am more than just a basketball player. I am all about human rights and I want to be seen as more. Well, listen, and you see it right now with happening in the NBA. They all want to start their season in January, but the people that pay their paychecks, the big TV companies, are saying, no. You need to start December 22nd or you're going to lose $500 million to potentially $1 billion if you decide to start after January. And what are all the NBA players doing? They're putting their tail between their legs, and you'll see in the next 7 days, they will be starting on December 22nd, because the people that pay them, right, the owners and their sponsors are telling them when to start. Same thing with us. Yeah, you can be more than a real estate agent, for sure. You're a mother.
Well,
I'm
we're
a father.
definitely not telling people not to be.
I'm not telling people not to
No.
be. I'm just telling you, when it comes to your business, there will be an impact when you post this kind of stuff. When you're very divisive online, one way or another, we're not taking sides. But when you choose to take a side, you will lose money. It will hit you in your bank account. And I advise you, if you actually care about the business, which means you care about the people in your business and the people that are being supported by the business and the revenue that you're creating, you will think twice about it.
Right.
All right. If you got a marketeer or somebody actually doing some great marketing, again, send it in to us.
Hopefully there's something, maybe there's something fun coming up. Maybe that's what people are working on this week.
And I'd
There's
love your
scripts.
If you think I'm wrong here, if maybe you've posted some of this type of crap, or done some of this crap, like if you,
I don't know.
you should be arrested if you're doing stuff
illegal.
like Roy.
That's
yeah,
illegal.
That's illegal. But on the stuff that we're talking about, where you're just taking sides online, you've actually gotten business out of it. Hey, happy to read those comments. And maybe see where I'm off base there.
Right.
All right.
Good one. Look at you.
Yeah.
You're welcoming it.
I'm welcoming the comments.
Look at you. Must be the birth of your second child.
Must be. All
It's
right.
like softened you. You're like soft.
I'm not soft. I'm not soft. You're still an idiot if you're doing it. All right. That's it.
That's it.
Keep it real, guys.
See ya.